Good morning, everyone. My name is Angelica, and today I'm going to be channeling for you on the topic of blood. And I have no clue what direction it will take. I wanted to just share that I have a soul contract with Thoth, the Egyptian deity, and Hermes Trismegistus to bring you messages all about how our bodies, signs, symptoms, conditions, health conditions, how all of those have a meaning, a significance, a message for you about how you may be in or out of alignment with your soul's path. And so I bring many messages about that. So I am a channeler. I've also brought in many messages from Archangel Gabriel that I'm going to try to post more of those. I may have just one or two now, but I have like dozens of those that I wish to share. And I'm also a medium that tends to attract deceased comedians. So I love comedy and they know it. Okay, so again, today the topic is on blood. So I'm gonna just call in my guides and I think they're ready. Your blood is your biological life force prana, carrying more than oxygen to all parts of your body, but also energetic codes translated from your multiple strands of DNA. These codes carry the blueprint that you and your team of guides in higher consciousness designed for yourself. Each like a little piece of chocolate wrapped up nicely to be unwrapped at the precise moment that you need in this lifetime. It is like, and I'm getting like visuals of little bubbles popping, like they are like small bubbles popping and being released into your bloodstream. And so there will be days where you wake up suddenly and you feel completely different, transformed, renewed, refreshed. And it is one of these bubbles just bursting and like a little capsule finding its way to exactly where it needs to your fingers to take action, to your eyes to see anew, to your eardrums to hear something new, and to your feet to maybe take you in a different direction, and maybe to your gastric to your gastric area to motivate you to perhaps make changes in your diet. And again, these packets of codes, they are divinely orchestrated to work together like a symphony to I'm seeing the orchestra leader, to bring in and be the encore of who the new you are, to herald in the new you into your next phase of life. So blood is that blueprint, if you ever wondered where it was held. Let's also review what happens when you have a cut or an injury where that blood is released, or where there is a massive loss of blood? You may have had an accident, you may have had an injury, but it was no accident. It was an old blueprint. Perhaps in this lifetime you chose different. You always have free will. Blueprints are there as a guide. But in this lifetime you may decide, no thank you, I'm not doing that, and it's time to move on. And you choose different. And so those codes, they've got to go somewhere. So there you have it. That little accident, that cut. Oh, and I'm being reminded of when I was cutting an orange, and I cut my thumb so badly I had to go to the emergency room. It was like just blood everywhere. So I'm being reminded that, apparently I was releasing some old codes that I said, I don't want to do that anymore. So that is exactly what happens. You're releasing an outdated blueprint, a timeline that your higher self and you decided you would not implement or carry through in this lifetime. That your actions and choices have diverged so much from that original blueprint that at this stage it is no longer feasible. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right, they also want to touch on blood transfusions. And I wondered whether they would go there. So, blood transfusions bring about much debate, particularly in some circles, some religious circles, whether it is acceptable or sanctioned by God to accept blood transfusion. And it is always a personal choice. However, it is true that when you share a blood, you are introducing new codes into your body, sharing them with the recipient. And if when you're giving blood, you're sharing your blueprint, you are offering it to that other individual, and it is for them to review. They will review that esoterically, spiritually. They will connect with it. They will entertain it. But it is always a choice on whether they act on it and step into that role. And you as the giver, the person donating blood, lose nothing. It is the recipient that stands to gain a new perspective, a new option, a new timeline, which again is there for them to accept, reject, delay, entirely up to them. And so when someone is in a situation where they need a blood transfusion, that is never an accident. It is intentional. It is because that person may have diverged so far from their own timeline. They may have transcended so much already in this lifetime that they need new codes. And your blood, another's blood, may be exactly what they need. And all of this is being divinely orchestrated to introduce those new codes to them. Now, the blood is not the only place that this is carried, but it is one of the principal ways in which the energetic meets the biological, and puts that into physical form. And this, to some degree, is also applicable in organ donation. Now, tissue donation on its own is different. It is only when the organ still carries a significant amount of blood. Like a heart transplant would be one example they're giving me. Kidneys, liver and kidneys are the other, where that kind of blood transfusion, that kind of organ transplant would bring in some amount of blood. And fascinating. Okay, so they're also showing me my uncle, and my uncle, he's incredible. I mean, he's gone through 2 organ transplants, and his life changed completely. It's like he became a new person. He must have accepted those new codes and fully embraced them, because he changed his life around. Quit drinking, just became a brand new person. And so, wow. Okay. There are other types of organ donations or tissue donations, or for example, I'm being shown like the derma, the like tissues to, like when there's a burn injury, or when somebody needs like new cartilage, things like that too. And it looks like they don't want to get too much into the organ donation thing, but that there is some aspect of the person who's donating the tissue, the organ, aspects of their lives, and of their learnings and lessons that you need, and that transference you will pick up on it. So they're giving me an example of someone I know who did have some like cartilage, who received some additional cartilage, and I'm being told that they then after that became more discerning and more outspoken as a result of that they started to speak the truth more, to not remain quiet. Okay, there you go. Because it's not the tissue itself, but the tissue that it came from the donor, that donor was a very loud, outspoken, like unfiltered person, and this woman receiving that cartilage, it granted her a little bit of that to make her more outspoken. There you go. So it's like we often, I think a lot of us often suspect that do you pick up on some of the personality traits or things like that from others with these tissue donations. And I said it's never negative. You're never going to be given or orchestrated anything that will put you in a worse position. Absolutely never. So that's something you can not worry about. But that's fascinating. Okay. Sorry, I'm reflecting as I'm hearing all this, but I think that's the key things they wanted to mention about blood, and that got a little bit into the whole tissue donation and organ donation. All right. I'll leave it at that. So thank you. Hope you found that interesting. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, and if you need any services from me, please do email me. My email is on my channel page, so you can find me there. Okay, thank you.